I'm going to take a moment of silence for those who have lost their lives in the Maui tragedy. And we pray for those who are still going through that situation. So if we just take a quick moment of silence. Thank you very much. All right, I will introduce our commissioners. We first have Vice Chair Louis III, Commissioner John Cross. We have no equipment here, everybody. So I think the light still comes on when you press. Yeah, there you go. Yeah, the red light comes on. Okay. Commissioner Rodriguez. What here? Commissioner Chantel Perrin will be a little bit late to this meeting today. Commissioner Ryan Baylog is absent and excused, and I am Chairperson Dennis Lin, and we have quorum to hold this meeting. Introducing the Office of the Corporation Counsel, we have Deputy Corporation Counsel Susanna Tiapula, attorney for the Commission.
Aloha.
Deputy Corporation Counsel Jean Campbell, attorney for the Planning Department. Representing the Planning Department, we have Planning Deputy Director Jeffrey Darrow. Aloha. We have the Planning Department staff, Acting Planning Program Manager Christian Kay, Planner Jessica Andrews, Planner Clinton Mercado, Planner Alex Roy, Commission Secretary Melissa Dakayanan Salvador, and we have Tracy Lee Camara as the Zoom host today. Thank you very much. Okay, housekeeping. Please turn off or silence your cell phones. If there is anyone here who would like to testify, please make sure that you fill out the form in the back at the staff table. Also, if you have any written testimony that you have not provided, you may provide it now to the staff. Commissioner, when speaking, please press the button here to make sure your light comes on. That means your mic is on and you may speak directly into the microphone. Please remember to mute it after you're done speaking. Also, those who want to speak, please raise your hand before, and I will recognize you before you start speaking. Moving on to the approval of minutes. The August 3rd minutes were circulated. May I have a motion for those minutes?
Move to accept the minutes as written.
I'll
second that.
Okay, it was moved by Commissioner Cross and seconded by Vice Chair Daniele. Any discussion? Corrections? Okay. All those in favor, please say aye.
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 Any opposed? Okay, minutes are approved. As stated in the published agenda, members of the public may provide public testimony regarding any agenda item now or at the time the agenda item is called to order. Testifiers on Zoom, you may choose to provide your testimony now or at the time the agenda item is called to order. Please keep your video camera off and audio muted until you're called by Tracy. Please note that this is an in-person meeting and the Zoom platform and YouTube live stream are provided as a courtesy. Therefore, our meeting will proceed even if the Zoom or YouTube connections fail. Before we start to receive public testimony pursuant to Rule 1-5 of the Planning Commission's Rules of Practice and Procedure, I'd like to remind everyone to be courteous and respectful of all testifiers, staff members, and commissioners. Please direct all testimony to me as the chair. Okay, at this time, staff, do we have any in-person testifiers?
No, sir.
Okay, thank you. Tracy, are there any Zoom testifiers?
Good morning. There are no Zoom testifiers at this moment.
Okay, thank you. At this time, I'd like to close public testimony. Is there a motion to close public testimony?
I'll move to close public testimony.
Okay, it's been moved by Vice Chair Daniele. Is there a second?
Second.
Seconded by Commissioner Cross. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Thank you. Public testimony is now closed. We first have the agenda item number one. Applicant is Sean and Stephanie Chang. Application number PL-REZ-2023-000044. Application for a change of zoning from a family agricultural 3-acre FA-3A zoning district to an agricultural 5-acre A-5A zoning district for 34.559 acres of land. The subject property is located at 47-5211 Old Mamalahoa Highway, approximately 0.5 miles southeast of its intersection with Mamalahoa Road, portion of Parker Ranch, Kapua, Kamoku, Hamakua, Hawaii, TMK 34-7-007, parcel number 48. At this time, staff, Jessica. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Chair. Good morning. This is a presentation for a change of zone for Sean and Stephanie Chang. This slide shows the location map of the subject property, which you can see in red, and it's located just to the east of the town of Waimea in the South Kohala district. The applicant's request is a change of zone from a family agricultural 3 acres zoning district to an agricultural 5 acres, A5A zoning district for 34.559 acres of land. The property has been improved with an existing dwelling, which was built in the 1950s, as well as a barn and a tack room. The remainder of the property is used intermittently for cattle grazing and cultivation of fruit trees. And the reason for the request is that the current landowners are requesting to downzone since they do not intend to develop the property according to the plans of the previous landowner, which were consistent with FA 3A, family agricultural 3-acre zoning. The applicants plan to subdivide the property into 6 lots, consisting of a minimum size of 5 acres each. And 4 lots will be retained for members of the applicant's family, and the remaining 2 lots will be sold to buyers interested in truck crop farming and or agricultural activities consistent with the proposed A5A zoning. This slide shows you the county zoning, and the property is outlined in red. As you can see, the zoning is currently FA 3A, and surrounding properties are predominantly zoned agricultural 40 acres, as you see in the bright teal. Just adjacent to the property is a property zoned A20A. And then to the west, there are agricultural 1 acre, smaller lots, agricultural 5 acre, and there is one subdivision there with residential single family, 10,000 square foot. The entire area, including subject property, is designated agricultural in the state land use district. And the county general plan designates the property extensive agricultural, as is most of the properties in the area. There is some rural designation to the west, and the light green is important agricultural lands. The slide shows the applicant's site plan, the proposed subdivision with the 6 lots. And as you can see, it's a triangular shaped property bounded by Old Mamalahoa Highway and a road that actually has goes by a couple different names. In our reports, we refer to it as Waiokele Street. It's also called Homestead Road and Vieira Road. This aerial photograph shows you the property again outlined in red. The surrounding area is predominantly vacant or agricultural lands with dwellings, existing dwellings, mostly to the west of the subject property. And these slides show you some views of the streets. This series of slides shows Old Mamalahoa Highway. The top slide shows the intersection with Wa'okele Street. The bottom two slides show Old Mamalahoa Highway with the subject property on the slide on the left, the subject property is on the right-hand side. And on the slide on the bottom right, you can see the subject property on the left. And these slides show the other street that bounds the property, which is Wa'okele Street. The top slide shows the subject property, one representative view from Wa'okele Street of one of the existing structures. And then the bottom two slides shows views facing to the northwest and southeast on Wa'okele Street, which you can see is a much smaller road. And the subject property is again on the right-hand side of the bottom left slide, and it's shown on the left side of that right-hand bottom slide. And with that, the director's recommendation is to forward a favorable recommendation to the county council. And I'll hand the floor back to the chair. Thank you.
Thank you, Jessica. Commissioners, any questions for staff? Okay, seeing none, then we'll move on to the applicant's presentation. So could the applicant or the representative please come forward? I'll swear you both in at the same time. If you could please raise your right hand. Do you swear or affirm to tell the truth on this matter now before the Windward Planning Commission?
I do.
Okay. Please speak directly into the microphone, state your name, the area you reside in, and whom you represent. And then I do also have to ask if you received the background and recommendation reports from the planning department, and if you agree with these recommendations, including the proposed conditions.
Sure. Good morning, Mr. Chairman, members of the commission. For the record, my name is Sidney Fouquet. I'm here representing the applicants, Sean and Stephanie Ching. I reside in Hilo.
Good morning, Chair and Commission. Good morning, Chair and Commission members. Pleasure to be here this morning. Apologies, my wife could not make it, so I'm here representing our family. I reside in Waimea and also on the island of Oahu. Thank you.
Mr. Chairman, we've had a chance to extensively discuss the staff's proposed background report and the recommendation and with the applicant, and needless to say, it was very comprehensive. We appreciate the favorable recommendation and the proposed conditions, so they're acceptable. As the your staff had indicated, the intent is really like to downzone the property from its current Ag 5 to, from FA 3A to Ag 5. And it's essentially trying to reduce the number of lots from 11 down to proposed 6. It's like going from a size 11 to size 6, I guess, essentially. The basic concept is still the same. It's a family-oriented type of subdivision, except that with a larger lot, you'll have a more opportunity for a variety of different type of agricultural activities, more so with cattle grazing with a larger lot. The applicant's plan in the beginning is, the ultimate goal is to eventually have 6 lots. Yes, they have 2 children, and obviously for them and the 2 children that's growing up. But they may want to do an initial 2-lot subdivision, essentially to help underwrite the cost for the balance of the subdivision. So they may subdivide the property in phases rather than in one fell swoop, because of the unanticipated offsite infrastructure requirements that may be associated with the subdivision of the property. Over and beyond that, like we've received no adverse comments from the public agencies. Neither did the surrounding property owners raise any objections. So we look forward to the Commission's favorable consideration of this proposal, and we're happy to answer any questions you may have.
Thank you, Mr. Fouquet. Any questions, commissioners? Mr. Ching, did you want to make any statements?
No, just thank you.
Hearing no discussion, may I have a motion for action on this matter?
I can make a move. I move a favorable recommendation be forwarded to the county council on the application for change of zone docket number PL-Res- 2023-0000044 based on the planning director's recommendation, which shall be adopted.
Thank you. It's been moved by Commissioner Cross for a favorable recommendation. Is there a second?
Second.
Seconded by Commissioner Deleuze. Any discussion on this motion? Okay, seeing none. Staff, roll call vote, please.
Thank you. Commissioner Cross,
Aye.
Commissioner Deleuze,
Aye.
Vice Chair Daniele,
Aye.
and Chair Lynn.
Aye.
Thank you. The motion passes with 4 votes.
Thank you. You'll be notified of the commission's decision in writing. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, thank you very much and enjoy your Labor Day weekend.
Thank you, Mr. Fouquet. You too.
I like the size 11.
Okay. We will now move on to agenda item number 2. Applicant is Sandra Kaneshiro. Application is PL-REZ-2023-1000046. Application for a change of zone from agricultural 3 acre A-3A to family agricultural 1 acre FA-1A. Zoning district for 3.16 acres of land. The subject property is located at 605 Makalika Street, approximately 540 feet southwest Malka of its intersection with Railroad Avenue, Paneva Farm Lot, South Hilo, Hawaii, TMK 32-2-048, parcel number 92. All right, staff, Clinton.
Mahalo, Chair Lynn. All right, good morning, everyone. We will begin the Kaneshiro change of zone slide with the location map. Excuse me. First of all, Janice, can you see the presentation screen?
Yes, you're good, Clinton.
Sorry, Tracy. Thank you. Okay, so the subject property is located in the South Hilo district, west of Railroad Avenue, off of Makalika Street. The applicant's request is a change of zone from agriculture 3 acres to a family agriculture 1 acre for 3.16 acres of land. The property currently consists of 2 existing single-family dwellings, one of which is an approved Ohana dwelling and several related accessory structures. No additional improvements to the subject property are currently being proposed by the applicant. The reason for the request is to subdivide the property into 2 lots at a minimum of 1.4 acres each to establish fee simple ownership of the resulting lots. Here we have the county zoning map. The subject property is outlined in blue. The majority of the property around is agriculture. To the left of the subject property is a similar zone that the applicant is requesting, which is the family agricultural in the lighter teal. Here is the state land use boundary map. The subject property is designated as agriculture. Most of its surrounding across the street, across Makalika Street, is urban designation. Here's a general plan land use pattern allocation guide map showing the subject property and its neighboring properties as low density urban, and across Railroad Avenue to the east is important agricultural lands. There's a site plan provided by the applicant showing the proposed divided lot line. So we have Makalika Street on the right with the shared driveway, existing single family dwelling. Towards the back of the property is the Ohana dwelling, and further back is the open grassy area. And in the middle is its existing accessory structures. Next is the aerial photograph of the subject property outlined in blue, showing Railroad Avenue to the right of the screen and Makalika Street to the bottom, and its improvements. The neighboring property is a mix of single-family dwellings, agriculture uses, and some vacant land. Here are a couple shots of Makalika Street. The top left being facing east with the subject property driveway on the left, as indicated. Bottom right is a opposite view facing west with the subject property on the right, with the dwelling of the subject property right here. Our final slide is the planning director's recommendation, which is to forward a favorable recommendation to the county council. At this time, I'm here to answer any questions if you have. Sherilyn.
Thank you, Clinton.
Thank you.
Any questions for staff, commissioners? Okay, seeing none. I will now ask for the applicant and the applicant's representative to please come forward. Also, are you both in at the same time? Please raise your right hand. Do you swear or affirm to tell the truth on this matter now before the Windward Planning Commission?
I do.
Please speak directly into your microphone, state your name and the area you reside in and whom you represent. I also have to ask if you have received the planning department's background and recommendation reports, and do you agree with the recommendations, including the proposed conditions?
I'm Tyler Conashiro. I'm here on behalf of my mother, Sandra. I reside in here, Hilo.
Good morning, Mr. Chairman, members of the commission. My name is Darren Arai. I reside in Hilo, and I'm here assisting the applicant, Sandra Kanashiro, this morning, who's capably represented by her son, Tyler. I have discussed the background report and the recommendation and proposed conditions with the applicant, both Tyler and Sandra, and they're both accept the proposed conditions as presented. We appreciate the hard work of the planning department staff in preparing the report. We appreciate the director's favorable recommendation, and we also appreciate the very thorough presentation that was presented to you this morning. The request is quite simple. It's, the property itself was once or is the Kanashiro family compound, but as many families encounter, life changes occur. So they're at that point in life now where they wish to look toward the future and try to manage the property as best as they can, which in this case includes placing each existing home on its own separate lot. The commissioners may be well aware that with a lot size of over 3 acres and the requested zoning of FA1A, that there is a possibility of a third lot that could be created within this on this property. However, let it be known too that with you saw the site plan during the presentation, the situation, the siting of the 2 existing homes and accessory structures will make it somewhat difficult in order to create that third lot due to the need to provide adequacy of access to the lot in the back, which is currently just a large grassy area. But should that opportunity to create that third lot occur in the future, the applicant will be obligated and compelled to comply with all of the requirements of the subdivision code. So whether 2 lots or 3 lots, the subdivision will be completed in a compliant manner. So with that, I stand ready to, or we stand ready to answer any questions that you may have.
Thank you, Mr. Arai. Any questions, commissioners? Mr. Kaneshiro, did you have anything to mention?
Nothing, Chair.
I had a
Okay.
quick question, Chair, because they're going
Go ahead.
to 1 acre FA. And is that the only designation they can go with? Is that to get it down to the smaller parcel?
They could change the state land use to urban and go into a residential zoning. It sounds like they are okay with the 1 acre zoning. They probably want to keep that flexibility of agricultural uses maybe on the property. But that always is a possibility. They are located within the general plan low density urban area. And as you saw on the map, the properties across the street are in the urban zoning. So that's a possibility, but right now, sounds like what they want to do is just separate ownership on the 2 houses. So I don't know if you folks caught this, but in the fair share condition, it only applies to new lots that don't currently have dwellings on them. And so if they were to create that 3rd lot, they would be required to pay that fair share, as well as Mr. Arai had mentioned, comply with the subdivision code for access. I'm sure there's plenty of water there for an additional unit. Lastly, the ag zoning seems to be consistent with that side of the Makalika Street. And so it's, but they do have that option in the future in case they want to go to smaller lots.
Oh, no, thank you for the explanation. I was just kind of curious why they wouldn't go into more of the urban type. But I understand the family wants to kind of keep it in ag. So thank you. No further questions.
Okay. Thank you, Commissioner Deluz and Deputy Planning Director. Any other questions? If not, is there a motion for action?
I move that a favorable recommendation be forwarded to the county council on application for change of zone, docket number OL-REZ-2023-000046, based on the planning director's recommendation, which shall be adopted.
Okay, it's been moved by Vice Chair Daniele. Is there a second?
Second,
Okay, seconded by Commissioner Cross. Any discussion on the motion for approval? Or sorry, this is not approval, but for favorable recommendation. Okay, seeing none. Staff, roll call vote, please.
Thank you, Chair Lynn. We begin with Vice Chair Daniel,
Aye.
Commissioner Cross,
aye.
Commissioner Deluz,
Aye.
and Chair Lynn.
Aye.
Thank you. The ayes have it.
Thank you very much. You'll be notified of the commission's decision in writing.
Thank you, Commissioner. Have a great long weekend.
Thank you. You too. At this time, we'll take a quick, maybe 10-minute recess. Thank you very much. We'll come back at 9:40.
Yeah, and we can take other items.
They're still up there. Go talk to them.
Okay, or bring the Windward Planning Commission back from recess. It is now 9:43. And I will note that for the record, Commissioner Perrin is now here. We will move on to agenda item number 3, which is applicant Aloha Kia. I do want to state for the record that for agenda items number 3 and 4, Commissioner Duluth has a conflict, and if Commissioner, if you could make a statement and we can recuse you from this item.
Sorry, Chair, you want me to make a statement?
Yeah, just stating the conflict, and then you can recuse yourself from this.
Oh, wow, yes, my conflict is by Hyundai and Subaru. Sorry, had to throw that in. He's not here. No, I was just determined in talking to Corp Counsel that was better to recluse myself. With your permission.
Okay, with that, you can recuse yourself and for the rest of the meeting,
And
since you're stepped down.
clarify that
Go
the
ahead.
reasons for the recusal are an existing financial relationship and business, an existing business relationship between you and the applicant.
So the conflict is we mutually do business.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner. With that stated, as we wait for Commissioner Duluth to recuse himself, we still a quorum, so we can still take up these 2 agenda items. Okay, so start with agenda item number 3, applicant Aloha Kia, application number PL-SMA-2023-000032. Application for a special management area use permit to allow for the development of a new car dealership and service station on 1.79 acres of land situated within the special management area. The subject property is located at 92 Kalanianaole Street, approximately 760 feet northwest of its intersection with Kalanoe Lehua Avenue, Waiakea, South Hilo, Hawaii, TMK 32-1-006, parcel number 2. Are we doing both at the same time? Yeah, okay. And we'll also do agenda number 4, applicant is also Aloha Kia. Application PL-REZ-2023-000047. Application for a change of zone from a resort hotel, 750 square feet, V-0.75 zoning district to a limited industrial 20,000 ML-20 square feet zoning district for 1.795 acres of land. The subject property is located at 92 Kalanianaole Street, approximately 760 feet northwest of its intersection with Kalanoe Lehua Avenue, Waiakea, South Hilo, Hawaii, TMK 32-1-006, parcel number 2. Okay, staff presentation, Alex.
Okay, good morning, commissioners. Thank you. As the chair said, this is 2 applications, 1 special management area use permit application or SMA major, and then the change of zone or rezone application. Here's a map of the project site. You can see it's located right in here in Hilo, south of Banyan Drive and Ice Ponds, next door to the Suisun warehouse site, and across the street from the newly named SCP Hotel. The applicant is requesting a change of zone from resort hotel to limited industrial to allow for the development of a new car dealership, the Aloha Kia. They're going to convert an existing commercial building to accommodate the showroom, sales office, and parts department. A 120 square foot addition will be included to support additional offices and a lounge. They're going to construct a new 6,770 square foot building to house 8 service bays and a detailing area. And then the remaining property will be developed with 135 parking stalls for customers, employees, and of course the inventory for Aloha Kia. Additional work includes landscaping, paving, ingress and egress improvements to both Kalanianiole and Kamehameha. County sewer and water is provided and adequate for the project. Here's a county zoning map of the area. As we see right now, the property is zoned resort hotel with limited industrial and general industrial on the south side of Kalanianiole. You have open zoning that includes Banyan, the Banyan Drive area and the ice ponds across the street. And then some neighborhood commercial and industrial commercial located nearby. State land use is primarily urban, with the ice ponds area being within the conservation district. LUPEG shows the entire area, including the subject parcel south of Kalanianiole as industrial. The resort areas across the street includes the hotel and some of the restaurants, open zoning of Banyan, and then some medium density urban nearby. Here's one aerial photograph of the project site. You can see the existing building, and the majority of the parcel is kind of just cleared with some gravel, parking, things like that. Two entrances are also visible. And then you see the ice ponds across the street on the top of the picture, the hotel, SCP Hotel, of course, on the left-hand side. Here's another close-up showing the building, the entrance to Kalanianiole Street, and then you can see the entrance to Kamehameha Avenue. You can see that the property is pretty much cleared, graded, and very little vegetation, if any. It's a couple of palm trees. Here's a site plan, proposed site plan for the project. So they did the color coding, which is kind of nice. It shows the yellow is the proposed new building. That would be down here. This is that service bay and detailing area. Then you've got the existing structure, but they're going to utilize the entire structure. And then the pink showing the proposed addition to that. And then of course you can see the layout of the parking and then some landscaping. And then here's a kind of a cross section showing the heights and the facade of the building. Then just for reference. Here's some site photos. I did visit the site and walked all around. So this is from Kamehameha looking towards Looking Makai. You can see the back of the existing building. On your left would be the new service bay area, and then pretty much the majority of this picture would be parking for their vehicles. Here's a kind of a close-up of the structure. And then the entrance is off to your right of the picture. Here's the entrance to, this is looking west along Kalanianiole Street. This is one of the entrances here. They just repaved and redid, as we all know, Kalanianiole. So that street is new. There's existing sewer grates that all been redesigned. There's two actually on just off of this property, right on the road. So to collect drainage. So there really wouldn't be any kind of drainage going across the street into ice ponds. It would all be captured by the sewer grates. This is a view of the property entrance. This is looking west along Kamehameha. You can see the entrance to the property on the right. And then on the left-hand side, and the majority of that is all the airport property. And then here, just for reference, a view of the entrance on Kalanianiole looking east. You can see the ice ponds, the proximity of the ice ponds on the left-hand side of the photograph. At this time, the Deputy Director's recommendation for PL SMA 2023-32 is approval with stated conditions. And then for PL REZ 2023-47, a favorable recommendation be forwarded to the County Council. I could take questions.
Thank you, Alex. Any questions, commissioners or staff?
I have one question. Is that building occupied at the present time that's on the property?
It is. There are a couple small businesses, restaurant, a couple small other businesses that have been notified that they'll have to make other arrangements. But in speaking with the applicant and their agent, they have some time. So this is the first step. So they're going to have a little bit of time, but they're well aware they need to move.
Thank you.
Good morning. I have a question.
Go ahead.
I just want to make sure that that development is not going to have any adverse effects on the environment. Hence, we have that icy ponds across the street that our children all love to utilize. And then number two, because it's Aloha Kia moving into that area, is there any way they could adopt that highway and maybe assist in the maintaining of that area? Something to consider?
That you might have to ask the applicant as far as the adoption of highway is concerned. But as I am the senior estimate planner for this county, I definitely, the environment's first and foremost in my mind. And that was my first concern, was any impacts to ice ponds. The new construction of that road installed a lot of stormwater catchment drainage. And that's why I was happy to see that there were two stormwater catchment drainage areas, grates right at the edge of the property on Kalani Highway. So anything coming, I mean, they're going to have to get a grading permit. They have to get a discharge and stormwater management. But if anything does, it would be captured right there and would not cross the street. So that was one of my concerns because, yeah, the day I was there was a ton of kids diving off the bridge. So we know that's a very popular spot. So, but yeah, I did take a look at that.
Thank you.
Mhm.
Thank you. Any other questions, commissioners? Okay, if not, let's move on to the applicant. So if the applicant and their applicant's representative, please come forward. If you could please raise your right hand, I'll swear you both in at the same time. You swear or affirm to tell the truth on this matter now before the Windward Planning Commission.
I do.
Okay, please speak directly into the microphone and state your name, the area you reside in, and whom you represent. And also, have you received the background and recommendation reports from the planning department? And do you agree with the recommendations, including the proposed conditions?
John Pippin, Land Planning Hawaii, assisting the applicant Aloha Kia, represented today by Russ Wong to my right. I live outside of Honoka'a. Mr. Wong lives on Oahu. He's flown in this morning. We have reviewed and received the Deputy Director's recommendation and proposed conditions. We appreciate all the hard work that's gone into those proposed conditions. We don't have any issues with accepting those conditions as they've been stated. Thank you, commissioners, for being here. Thanks, Commissioner Perrin, for making the extra effort to come in this morning. So this is a straightforward request to my eye. I think staff Alex Roy presented well a summary of the request. It fits into the area. It complies with the general plan industrial designation. All of the ministerial permits that we will have to comply with beyond this point will ensure that there's no impacts to the environment. Again, the grubbing grading permits, those stormwater pollution protection plans that we'll develop and implement will control the runoff, connect to the sewer system. The property is already served by all required utilities. We've been mindful of scenic impacts due to the development. We'll be beautifying the site with landscaping, shading the parking spaces with trees and so on. We think this is an important step for Aloha Kia and this area. It'll allow them to improve their facilities and enhance their employment opportunities. Aloha Kia, and I'll let Russ speak to this more if he'd like to, is a leader in EV adoption. And so we will be complying, of course, with the new EV parking requirements. So that'll be addressed at the plan approval stage, which will come after the rezone. So with that, we're thank you very much for being here today. We appreciate the work that you do on these projects. It's not taken for granted. And with that, we're ready to answer any questions you might have. Appreciate your time.
Thank you, Mr. Pippin. Yeah, any questions? Or actually, I want, if the applicant, you want to provide any further comments or a statement to the commissioners before we ask questions?
We're proud to be here in Hilo. I've been here for 20 years, right on Kanuelehua. Looking forward to the opportunity of improving the service level and the facility that we could offer our customers. And I do think the automotive industry is a leader in making sure the environment is properly handled. And you know, as it's transitioning more and more towards EVs, you know, there's a lot less fluids. You know, so it's you know, I think right opportunity and at the right time for us, and appreciate all the work you guys have done.
Thank you. Commissioners, maybe Ms. Perrin, if you want to re-ask your question to the applicant.
I do. Thank you so much. Well, welcome to Hilo. I myself am from Oahu originally. I've been here for 4 years and I love it. The reason why I love it is just the forest, and it's not overdeveloped like Oahu, and you can still live. And I want to try and maintain as much of that as we possibly can for future generations to come. So as I asked the gentleman that was up there before you, what can you folks do as far as that highway? Are you folks able to adopt the highway, help maintain that area? A lot of times we have these big name companies that come in and they kind of just develop, leave it, and they don't do anything in the community to help preserve what we have. We're on an island. It's all we've got. Is there anything Aloha Kia can do to help our community out?
The company is very committed to community involvement and making sure we participate in the community. I have a lot of family that lives up here in Hilo. My sister, I have aunts and uncles, a lot of big families in the Hilo area that I'm related to. Definitely, we do get involved with, when you say adopt a highway, you know, there's programs that I'm aware of where, you know, they adopt a 2-mile stretch and regularly go and pick up trash and stuff. Don't know exactly what opportunities would be available, but for us to be successful in selling cars, we have to be a part of the community, or the community is not going to want to buy cars from us. So that is something that's very important. Our general manager looks at ways that you know, he's on site, lives here, and tells us, you know, hey, this is what we need to do. So yes, the answer to the question is definitely, like you said, a business that comes to town and just builds something and you know, just takes money out of the community, generally is not going to last real long.
Very good.
Yes. Okay. So you do your part to kind of look into it and make sure, just like your name, Aloha Kia, that Aloha is move forward into the community.
Absolutely.
Awesome. That's what I want to
Thank
hear.
you, Commissioner Perrin. Commissioner Daniele, did you want to repeat your question to the applicant regarding the current tenants in the commercial structure?
Yeah, as I had stated before, I was inquiring if the building on the said property is occupied, and that was my question.
Yes. Thank you for the question, Commissioner Daniele. It is occupied. The currents are aware of the proposal to move Aloha Kia there. It looks like, presuming we get through our planning commission meeting with favorable recommendation and approval for the SMA permits today, we're looking at another few months of meetings with the county council to finalize the change of zone, then plan approval, then we can begin building permit. So there's still a lot of time, perhaps a year and a half before work would begin to impact those tenants. They'll be given plenty of time to make other arrangements to move to another site.
Thank you.
Any other commissioners have any questions? No? Okay, I guess my question is similar on the lines of Vice Chair Daniele. So currently Aloha Kia is the landowner of this property? No.
Baylight. So we have also reviewed the recommendations with the current landowner.
Okay.
As an agreement. So this is as often happens in real estate transactions, kind of a contingent sale on the change of zone being granted.
Okay. Okay. Because my question was kind of in the lines of, what is the landlord going to help out with those tenants, right? Because I mean, you guys are coming in, but ultimately it's the landlord who decided to, come into a disagreement with Aloha Kia, just worried about how much time they have to get their matters, their affairs in order, and any financial assistance that landlord is providing them in terms of, hey, we're terminating your lease early or whatnot.
I can speak to that.
Yeah, please.
So the longest lease left expires in October of 2025. We will honor every remaining lease. We've also told the landlord, because we recognize when people are looking for something else, if they choose to find something and move sooner, we would honor whatever commitments that they have remaining to the landlord. So nobody will be impacted adversely by a lease. If and we haven't discussed this with any of the tenants, but I am thinking that with the length of time it takes to get permits and stuff, if it takes longer, we would more than be willing to allow them to continue to operate, probably on a month to month. If they don't have things by October 2025 and we're not ready to go by then, but hopefully things will move along and we'll be ready to go. But we will honor any remaining lease that's there.
Okay, thank you. Any other questions, comments? All right, do we have to take the vote on separate items? Okay. So we'll start with item number one, number three. Is there a motion for action? And then this is the application for special management area use permit.
I can make the move to approve. I move that the application for the special management area use permit docket number PL-SMA-2023 0000032 be approved based on the planning director's recommendation, which shall be adopted.
Thank you. It's been moved by Commissioner Cross. Is there a second to that motion?
I second.
Seconded by Commissioner Perrin. Any discussion? Okay, seeing none. Alex, if you do roll call vote for agenda item number 3.
Commissioner Cross,
Aye.
Commissioner Perrin,
Aye.
Vice Chair Danilo,
Aye.
and Chair Lynn.
Aye.
This is for the SMA, which passes 4-0.
Okay, thank you. Then we'll move on to the agenda item number 4, which is the change of zone from resort hotel to limited industrial. Do I have a motion for action on this agenda item?
I move that a favorable recommendation be forwarded by the county council on the application for change of zone, docket number PL-REZ 2023-000047, based on the planning director's recommendation, which shall be adopted.
Okay, it's been moved by Commissioner Perrin. Is there a second to that motion?
Aye.
Okay, it's been seconded by Vice Chair Daniele. Is there any discussion? Okay, see no discussion. Alex, roll call vote on item number 4.
Commissioner Perrin,
Aye.
Vice Chair Danilo,
Aye.
Commissioner Cross,
Aye.
and Chair Lynn.
Aye.
This is for the rezone. Motion carries 4-0.
Okay. you'll be notified of the commission's decision in writing. I just want to say, thank you, aloha kia, for supporting our community for so long. I think, we're all appreciative that you guys bring local jobs here, and, it's not just solely reliant on tourism. And diversifying our economy is so important. So just appreciate that.
Thank you all very much.
Thank you. All right. Moving on to other business, we have the planning director's report. So I think we have two things here. One is the report on the Hawaii County Council Resolution number 203-23, adopting the County of Hawaii Integrated Climate Action Plan. Materials were distributed on August 24th. And Commissioner, do you have any questions on the Climate Action Plan, or is there going to be a brief discussion from staff?
I was just going to kind of touch on just some of the highlights. Yeah. So the Hawaii County Integrated Climate Action Plan, or we can just call it the ICAP, just for simplicity. It introduces the County of Hawaii's strategic roadmap for implementing climate action throughout the county. It identifies actions the county can take and then holds the county accountable for some of those climate actions. The ICAP includes the climate action framework. This is kind of the bulk of that report. It's kind of a long one, so if you peruse through it, you'll see that there's a number of climate mitigation and adaptation efforts the county can take. It describes this kind of cascading effect or cumulative kind of effect that we're starting to see, and outlines the complexities of a lot of these issues. There's no more silver bullet fixes, so a lot of these fixes are very integrated, and it'll take a lot of effort from not only from the state, the county, but the federal government as well. The cascading effects include things like greenhouse gas emissions, air and sea surface temperature, drought and severe rainfall, sea level rise, and then of course tropical cyclones and storm surges. The climate action framework kind of shows the extremely complex interactions between global climate change and local systems, and it's intended to be improved upon over time. So it's an iterative process. As we learn new, as science comes and improves, we then can integrate that and improve the system. So that climate action framework is meant to grow. So this document, the ICAP document, is essentially that first, framework for that. So it's not the end all be all. And the idea is that it's allowed to kind of evolve over time, but does require that we start moving forward and that the county be held accountable for some of these, processes. So if there's specific questions, you guys can always email me or talk to me. But I recommend just taking a look at the report if you get a chance. If you got any questions, of course, I can answer now.
Thank you, Alex. It is a quite extensive document. But my question would be, how does that impact the planning department operations, as well as the interactions between the commission and the planning department? Does it have any influence on how these reports are going to be written in the future? Like how, currently there's the cultural side of things, right? Well, we have to provide an assessment on how it impacts cultural rights and, the sensitivities regarding that. But does it affect our decision-making, or what kind of things we have to look at while we're making these decisions?
Yeah, and that's why I recommend taking a look, because it is information for the planning commissioners to have in the back of their head, that these things are potential impacts. And right now we do, one of the key changes is that we look at the sea level rise, the SLREXA map. For every project that I deal with in the SMA, that's one of the first things I go to. A couple of years ago, that was not the case. So those are some of the, that's one thing that we do differently now. And it is always kind of first and foremost as a coastal planner, thinking about climate change, sea level rise, storm surges. Those are big things that we really have started to look at. For you guys, for the commissioners, yeah, it's something that should just be another arrow in your quiver to ask questions. And I think for us as making applicants and developers aware. There's not much on the books as far as law is concerned, but we can consistently ask that they be aware, and are they doing anything to mitigate? Like Commissioner Perrin brought up today with the Aloha Kia. Yeah, is there some other opportunity that you guys can do for the environment other than just come in and develop and put some trees up? So I think for you guys, it's something that you want to, consistently push and ask questions, but that's about where we're at right now. But we are making changes in our reviews based on the science as it comes forward.
Thank you.
Chair.
Yeah, go ahead.
For more tangible, effects of this, this study is if you do a simple search, for like a chapter, you'll see all the requests in the plan that is, requesting county, codes to be changed. We deal with chapter 25 and chapter 23, the zoning code and the subdivision code. So for example, one of the ones that would affect you folks, it says, for us, adopt the sea level rise area as an overlay for planning and rules. And I believe we're doing that already. And so like today with our SMA, one of the slides showed the I'm not sure was in a slide. It's in the report. It shows the sea level rise up to 3.2 feet and how it comes inland, but it didn't affect his property. So already we're adopting that. It goes on to say, hold on for a sec, sorry. Well, that didn't work. Let me real quick. There's changes in the zoning code and the subdivision code, but let me just get this real fast. So the other one is to require all public and private parking lots to maintain a 25% parking stall minimum to be EV charger ready by 2035. So again, these are tangible. Amend chapter 25 to require a percentage of open space to be preserved as open space as a condition of approval for any rezone or time extension to maintain forest and plant cover. So these are things we need to adopt in our code and our rules. Lastly, update zoning and subdivision codes to incorporate new hazard mitigation requirements for drought and fire risk reduction. So you'll see there's requests for other codes to be changed as well. So very extensive report that was done.
Yeah, and also state law, they're looking to do that. But just as a reminder, the county, we're moving through a hazard assessment, a coastal hazard and riparian hazard assessment, which takes into account the SMA as well as that 3.2 foot, 3.2 meter sea level rise. So we are kind of taking a little bit of a leap in trying to understand the hazards that affect the entire coastline and the riparian river areas of this island. So
Thank you, Alex. So it looks like this is more like a strategic plan to kind of give the pathway of what we want to do as a county. But in terms of some of the stuff that you mentioned, Deputy Director, those changes to the codes would still have to go through all the same processes of, bringing it up to county council to get adopted, bringing it back to the commission to vote on, to look at, like that 25 parking stall requirement. Because I think currently we looked at it and it was 50, right? And earlier last year. Okay.
yeah, I think one of the things the report really puts forth is the complexity of the interactions between all the different entities, and agencies that need to get involved. It's a challenging And so this lays a nice framework, I think, for the county to really kind of step up. But we are reliant on the feds and we are reliant on the state to also step up. But there are things that we can do as a county. So.
Thank you, Alex. Any other questions or comments regarding this climate action plan? Okay.
I have one.
Oh, go ahead.
Bring up for you guys. It recommends increased water storage capacity, which to me is reservoirs. We need to increase more, have more reservoirs. And this has come to light on Maui, where it says that when we needed water storage the most, we have 50% less reservoir capacity than we did during sugarcane operations. Reservoirs are being shut down by the DLNR more often than they are approved. And it's kind of ironic where this report is good. It says you need to store more water. That is correct. But it goes against what our DLNR is doing. They're shutting them down or recommending they be destroyed and deregulated. And that's just a comment.
Sure. Thank you, John. So it looks like has to be more state county partnership there, but yeah, any other comments? Okay, seeing none, we'll move on to special management area determinations and minor permits issued by the planning director, excuse me, for the month of August 2023. That was distributed. Anybody have any comments regarding that report? Okay, if not, agenda items for next meeting. Commissioners, do you have any specific matters that would you like to agendize for the future meeting? Okay, if not, we always ask this question, how many agenda items we have next meeting?
I think we have 2 on our agenda next meeting.
Thank you. With no further business items, the Windward Planning Commission's next monthly meeting is tentatively scheduled for Thursday, October 5th, 2023, here in the County Council chambers in Hilo, and the public can also testify via Zoom. The date and venue of the meeting are subject to change. Please reach out to the planning department for any other announcements. If there's no other further business, is there a motion to adjourn this meeting?
I'll move to adjourn today's meeting.
Okay, there's a motion by Vice Chair Daniele. Is there a second?
Second.
Okay, seconded by Commissioner Cross. All in favor of adjourning today's meeting, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, meeting adjourned at 10:21. Thank you, everybody. Have a nice Labor Day weekend.